Well, I can't accuse the Las Vegas Raiders of tanking anymore. They've just won their second game in a row for the first time this season. Maybe they saw what Deion Sanders did on Saturday night and realized there's nothing to tank for anymore. Some people joked that the Raiders didn't tank for Sanders, so now they're tanking for them. But after Saturday's game, it's tough to say how much it hurt Sanders' draft stock. It's only one game. But struggling against BYU isn't a great look for a possible number one pick. Honestly, I think his chances of being the top overall pick are probably gone. Now the question is, will he even make it to the 8th overall pick? I'm not sure, but I don't think so. In their Week 17 win over the New Orleans Saints, the Raiders showed us a few things. And here are my thoughts. First up, something we've seen all year. Tight end Brock Bowers is an absolute stud. He's going to be an elite player in the league for years to come. I honestly think it's Bowers, not quarterbacks like Jaden Daniels or Bo Nix, who deserves the NFL's 2024 Rookie of the Year. He probably won't get it, though, since they always give those awards to quarterbacks, and the Raiders aren't winning enough games. But Bowers deserves it. He's breaking records, while none of the rookie quarterbacks are doing the same. He already holds the rookie record for most receptions in a season, and has set the record for receiving yards by a rookie tight end. If that wasn't enough, he's also on track to break the all-time record for receptions in a season by any tight end, regardless of experience. He even holds the Raiders' franchise record for receptions in a season. With 7 catches on 7 targets in this game, he's up to 108 receptions for 1,144 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's an incredible rookie season, especially considering he's had 3 different quarterbacks throwing him the ball. This was a great call by J.M. Tom Tesco. Bowers is a generational talent. We might have to start considering that quarterback Aiden O'Connell could be the guy for the Raiders. I'm not saying he's the answer yet, but after seeing his progress over the last few games, I can't rule it out. His pocket presence and just enough mobility to extend plays are really standing out. He's improving, and that's something we haven't seen from quarterbacks under former offensive coordinator Luke Getsy. Now we know it wasn't Justin Fields holding back in Chicago, it was Getsy. New minority owner Tom Brady worked with Sanders for a long time, helping him become one of the top quarterbacks in this upcoming draft. That's why his father, Deion Sanders, wanted him to come to Las Vegas. But right now, that doesn't seem like much of a possibility anymore. So, I have to ask, what can Tom Brady do with Aiden O'Connell? There's a lot to like about O'Connell, and he actually shares a lot in common with Brady. He's a pocket passer, accurate with his throws, and processes information quickly. While he's not the most athletic guy out there, his arm is stronger and more live than people realize. O'Connell showed what he's capable of on Sunday, completing 20 of 35 passes for 242 yards and 2 touchdowns, spreading the ball around to all his teammates. I can't help but wonder just how much better Brady can make him. Now, the Raiders' defense has been hit hard by injuries this year, but they've still fought through it all. Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins, both studs in the NFL, have been out, and second-year cornerback Jaron Bennett, an emerging star, is also sidelined. Safety Marcus Epps wasn't playing his best before the injury, but he was still an important part of the defense. That's 4 key players missing from various levels of the defense. But despite all that, guys like Tyreek Wilson and K'Lavon Jason have stepped up on the edges, and Adam Butler has made plays on the interior line. Trayvon M. is still doing his thing at safety, and linebacker Robert Spillane is a beast as always. Then there's Isaiah Palau, a safety who's really shown he's a playmaker. He's everywhere, blitzing, tackling in the run game, covering tight ends, and patrolling the deep part of the field. His physicality and hard-hitting style are noticeable. Palau made some big hits and recorded 4 tackles on Sunday, and he didn't allow Saints quarterback Spencer Rattler to complete more than 1 of 5 passes thrown into his coverage, breaking up 2 of them. I've said it before, and I'll say it again on X, I don't care who the Raiders' head coach is next year. Whoever it is, they'd better win. With Brady now in town, the rumor mill is swirling about Mike Vrabel potentially becoming the next head coach. But that's not a sure thing. There are reports that he could be heading to the New England Patriots, and if that happens, he'd already have a quarterback in Drake May, the likely first pick in the draft. Meanwhile, Raider Nation is also hoping for Ben Johnson, the hotshot offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, to take over. But sources say he's more interested in going to the Chicago Bears, where quarterback Caleb Williams is waiting. Let's be real. The Raiders don't get to just hire the best candidate out there. There are more attractive job opportunities than the Raiders, which could leave them stuck with Antonio Pierce as head coach. Don't be surprised if that happens. New coaches always bring a rebuild, which means things would probably get worse before they get better. That said, Pierce showed he had a formula for success in the second half of 2023. He made some changes this year and made mistakes, but it's clear he's capable of leading this team. But didn't you expect some mistakes in year one for a head coach? We always talk about giving players time to develop, but what about the coaches? Antonio Pierce's biggest mistake was hiring offensive coordinator Luke Getsy. After the mess with Cliff Kingsbury, it wasn't just that Getsy is a bad coordinator, it's that the system didn't fit the players. The offensive line performed well in a power gap scheme last year, but Getsy tried to implement zone blocking this season, and it didn't work. The Raiders would have been better off if Pierce had just brought back B. Hardigree, who had success with the team. I think Pierce should bring back the Turners next year. Their version of the Eric Carrell offense uses a 12-personnel base package and a power gap running scheme, which would suit the Raiders' roster much better. Getsy's West Coast offense out of 12 personnel doesn't fit this team's strengths. By sticking with the Turners, the Raiders wouldn't need to completely overhaul their roster and would have more continuity heading into next season. The Raiders don't need a full rebuild, just a new quarterback. They could use a guard or two and a solid running back to be a competitive team. Last year, Pierce had a winning formula. Run the ball with the power gap scheme, have the quarterback play mistake-free football, and rely on great defense. That formula worked, but then he hired an offensive coordinator whose scheme didn't fit, and the offense struggled. Now, it looks like Pierce has rediscovered his old formula. The Raiders have won 2 in a row, and Aiden O'Connell might just be the guy. Maybe they should give him a real shot. They've already gone back to the power gap scheme, so all they need is a good running back, like Ashton Jonty, and a guard or two. On defense, they'll be great next year with everyone healthy and the emergence of Palau. Pierce is getting his formula back on track. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.